that's the whole point.
All right. Well, we're on the Bligh bus and we're heading into our 29th electorate in the 5-day blitz, and due to picking up some constituents of Stirling Hinchliffe, I have a friend now on the bus, a seatmate in my little makeshift studio. Premier Anna Bligh, welcome to my phone. What do you make of technology in this campaign? How's it been going? Having Twitter and video blogs and live feeds, and does it make it more demanding?
Well, I think it's been really interesting. It certainly makes it more immediate, and people know what's happening instantaneously. So when there's a big issue break on the campaign trail, everyone knows about it straight away, and I'm being asked questions about it. I'm sure the same happens to Campbell Newman and other candidates. But I think it does put a lot of pressure on. I've noticed it's putting pressure on the journalists. You know, there's no sense that they have ever finished for the day. In other campaigns, they will have filed their story, it'll be on the 6 o'clock news, and they've done their job. Now, as soon as they've filed one story, they've got to get on to the next one, otherwise they'll be left behind. So it's certainly 24-hour campaigning, and that's been made much more possible through the technology.
Well, you're a veteran campaigner, and this is my first campaign, and now we're going into the dark, so forgive that. But
we're now in a tunnel.
We're in a tunnel.
This is the tunnel of the Northern Busway. This will be the first time it's been driven through, and you can see it's almost ready for buses to take passengers. It's going to transform the northern suburbs.
Well, on transport, I just see on my Twitter feed and Facebook feeds a lot of people complaining about public transport, particularly the cost. Why is it that we can't have cheaper public transport to get from one stop?
We really are in the dark.
We are. It's spooky. It's spooky.
Okay, this is a ghost train interview with Nat.
Hang on, I might have a light here.
Have some lights on the bus, please.
Yes, there we go. We have light again.
Hey!
What's the matter?
Thanks, Steve. That's a cameraman there.
So thank you.
On the ghost train. So why can't there be cheaper public transport for people?
Well, every fare that everybody pays, for every dollar they pay, the public purse pays another $3. So we already subsidise 75% of the cost of a ticket. And I know that nobody ever likes to pay more for anything. That's, I think, a very human thing. None of us like it. The reality is what those increases have paid for is a massive expansion in the network. We have 600,000 extra seats, rail, ferry and bus in the southeast in just the last 3 years as a result of increased investment from the government and some increases in fares. If you think back a couple of years ago, one of the most difficult things the network was experiencing was the services couldn't keep up with the number of people who wanted to be on public transport. And we all have to bear some of the cost of that. And I know that it sometimes makes it very tough for people. That's why we've put in place all the discounts that you can get if you use a Go card. And that's why we announced this week that a new Labor government would make sure that we have a 2 then free policy. So after 2 trips a day, every other trip is free. And I think that will make it a lot cheaper for people who use transport a lot.
I guess maybe there's people who use it occasionally or use it more often, but there's just that financial disincentive that they take their car.
Well, it's still a lot cheaper for people who are commuting every day for work to be on public transport rather than using their car and then paying parking fees in the city. And that's the way we want to keep it. While I know that people have experienced those increases in the last couple of years, we have actually kept our public transport costs by and large lower than you would find in other capital cities. As I say, we're in a very big expansion phase. It's a good thing to have more and more people wanting to be on public transport, but they'll quickly turn off it if we don't have the services, if they're left waiting. And so we're now building the newest, the first new railway lines into the suburbs, Redcliffe and Springfield, for example, that we've seen in a generation. And those lines are now under starting construction and will make a big difference.
Should we have just had a subway like 50 years ago built? Because it seems to be that you go to some of these. Do we just not have the population to sustain mass transport systems like Hong Kong and London and New York? And I don't know why I got into transport, but you go to London, you get
because we're on a new busway.
Yeah, we're on a bus.
And this is a good example of one of the things that all of this is funding. This busway will take massive numbers of buses off the road in northern suburbs, which makes it better for cars, but it also means for public transport users they're not going to be sitting on traffic. They've got a dedicated busway. That means that for the ticket they pay, they get almost a guaranteed time because they're not waiting for traffic, there's no traffic lights, and that's a service that will mean more people.
Someone's going to hail the bus over here at the bus station.
Okay.
One final question if I may.
I better go and meet Bob Hawke. He's waiting for us at the bus stop.
Oh, okay. Well, later. I've still got to ask about election night, but we'll do that later. We'll do that later. It's Bob Hawke's here apparently.
Okay, folks, we have a special visitor joining the bus, and we'd like you to be on your best behaviour again, media.
Best behaviour for Bob Hawke.